You're watching Soccer Extra, presented locally by Toyota.
Welcome back to Soccer Extra, presented by Toyota. Before the break, we brought you the story of how this World Cup will be the first the U.S. women's national team is getting paid the equal amount to that of their male counterparts on the U.S. men's national team. But this Women's World Cup, with the largest field of nations ever at 32, and what's expected to be the most attended and most watched Women's World Cup ever, it's also about making money through marketing, sponsorships, and business opportunities that are now multiplying for women in the world of sports. And joining us now is someone who could expand upon that. Remy Cherin is a FIFA licensed soccer agent and the principal of Remington Ellis Management, a New Jersey-based boutique sports management agency. Welcome, Remy, to Soccer Extra.
Thanks, Tina, for having me on.
What made you want to get into the agent space, specifically in soccer?
Yeah, I think in 5th or 6th grade, Jerry Maguire came out, and I saw the movie, and I said, that's what I want to do. That's the life I want to have, and set my sights on it. And, you know, getting out of college, I wanted to get into sport and needed to get my foot in the door, and took a sales job at the Garden, learned how to sell Knicks, Rangers, Liberty. Red Bull had bought the Metro Stars, started selling tickets there, and slowly started to build. And 15 years later, I've been running my own agency. With
the Women's World Cup now upon us, you have 7 clients there on the U.S. women's national team. So as the World Cup gets going and you're watching these matches, what are you looking for? What are you focusing on as your clients are out there on the biggest stage?
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, you hit on some numbers, attendance, TV numbers, but I think a lot of other nations have really started to invest in the women's game around the world. So I also think it's going to be one of the most competitive tournaments ever as well.
And you have other clients that are playing for other national teams as well, right? Yep. Sinead Farley?
Yeah, Sinead Farley, yes. Gotham player, local, playing for Ireland too, so we're excited to cheer her on as well. Yeah.
And we actually have a very big piece on her next week on Soccer Extra, so we're looking forward to that. Now let's talk about one of your other clients, Rose Lavelle. Yep. She was at the last World Cup, and it was her first, and she really put the world on notice with her assist. She came out with a bang in that first match in the group stage. So what changed for Rose when she came back home, you know, with that World Cup trophy?
Yeah, Rose is just such a special human being and player. The way she plays the game, she gets everyone out of their seats, and it was just amazing. And I think for her, she's always put her soccer before everything else. And she was a household name. You know, she scores that goal in the final, skill, flair, and everything kind of changed overnight outside of the game. For her, she's still the same person, focused on her football or soccer. Brands wanted to work with her, you know, getting calls off the hook, big brands, small brands, short-term deals, long-term deals, and it's really about maximizing that.
So, Remy, how did the U.S. soccer agreement to give the women equal pay, how did that impact the women as individuals and, you know, as players, but also as business people?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a massive deal, and I think when you talk to these players, none of them are looking for charity. They want their fair share of the pie, and they're winners, right? And I think when you look at TV revenue, sponsorship revenue, brands want to work with the women, right? They want to work with the men as well. And at some point, you know, you talk about FIFA, you talk about U.S. soccer, you have to stop the gender discrimination. In U.S. soccer, the players, the Women's Players Association did an excellent job getting an equal pay deal.
What impressed you the most about the way the U.S. women fought all these years to come to this agreement? Just them out there on a national stage, almost dealing at a political level with this.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, what they did with that. I mean, and you look globally now, FIFPro is leaning on U.S. soccer, on those players, when every other nation now is fighting for equal pay. The U.S. women set the standard, so it's just been unbelievable what they've been able to do. They're soccer players, and they have to fight for every penny, and they did, so it was unbelievable they were able to do both.
So, I mean, what happens when a woman makes the national team? Now her name is being, you know, talked about in homes where maybe it's not the market where they're playing in the NWSL. How does that better them for more marketing and sponsorship opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up Mia Hamm, Brandy Chastain, and now these players are that next generation. I have a young daughter. Our friends have young kids, and they have a new group of heroes to look up to right now. And I think getting to that national team level changes everything, right? They become viable for small brands, big brands, and they become household names. People know who they are, and they see the value in working with players like that.
So when do you head to the World Cup, Remy?
I head before the Portugal game, and hopefully staying through the final, depending on how they do. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Portugal is that third and final group stage game, and of course you could see that game right here on Fox 5. Remy, so good to see you. I'm sure I'll be circling back to talk to you when the women come back to the U.S. for sure.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Really appreciate it. And Soccer Extra will be right back.